One traveler kicked the bucket and 71 individuals were harmed when their Singapore aircraft's flight from London to Singapore experienced serious disturbance Tuesday, tossing travelers and group around the lodge and driving the plane to make a crisis arrival in Bangkok. The Boeing 777-300ER was around 10 hours into its flight and halfway through dinner administration when it hit disturbance while flying over Myanmar's Irrawaddy Bowl, as indicated by the carrier. Andrew Davies, a traveler installed Flight SQ321 who was heading out to New Zealand for business, told CNN's Aaron Burnett that it had been a completely typical flight when the safety belt sign came on, and seconds after the fact, the situation spun out of control. The plane just felt like it dropped. It likely just endured a couple of moments, yet I recall distinctively seeing shoes and iPads and iPhones and pads and covers. Also, cutlery and plates and cups flying through the air and colliding with the roof. The courteous fellow close to me had some espresso, which went straight all over me and up to the roof, Davies said. Davies said he understood the gravity of the disturbance when he pivoted, portraying a few travelers with slashes on their heads, incorporating one with blood pouring down her face, and an older traveler in serious shock. There was such a lot of shouting, he said. Video and pictures from inside the airplane showed the degree of the harm, with storage spaces crushed open and crisis oxygen air covers balancing down from the roof. A photograph of one kitchen showed a part of the roof open, with parts of the plane's inside hanging down. Plate, compartments, plastic jugs and hot refreshment pots should be visible thrown across the floor. A 73-year-old Englishman passed on in the occurrence from a thought-heart condition. The senior supervisor of Bangkok's Suvarnabhumi Worldwide Air Terminal Kittapong Kittakakorn said Tuesday, adding that the post-mortem process was all the while progressing. The man was subsequently recognized as Jeff Kitchen, who was portrayed as consistently a man of honor with the highest level of genuineness and uprightness by the Thornbury Melodic Venue Gathering TMTG, a foundation where he worked for north of 35 years. The English Unfamiliar Office told CNN it was supporting the group of an English traveler who kicked the bucket on a Singapore carrier's flight. Davies, who was situated toward the front of the plane, said he kept an eye on Kitchen, who was situated behind him. Heaps of individuals required some assistance, however we kept an eye on this noble man and I helped convey him, get him out of the seat, and we lay him on the floor with the goal that some clinical professionals could direct CPR, Davies said, adding the traveler was managed CPR for around 20 minutes. The Samadivj Srinakuran Emergency Clinic in Bangkok, which got the harmed travelers, said no less than 71 individuals were harmed, with 6 harshly. Those harmed incorporate residents of Malaysia, the UK, New Zealand, Spain, the US and Ireland. Kittakakorn, who reviewed the airplane, said a few harmed travelers supported broken arms. The flight, conveying 211 travelers and 18 team, had left London's Heathrow Air Terminal around 10:30 p.m. nearby time. As per online flight trackers, it was destined for Singapore's Changi Air Terminal, but the airplane was redirected to Bangkok where it arrived at 3:45 p.m. neighborhood time, as indicated by the carrier. Video shot after Singapore Aircraft's SQ321 was redirected to Bangkok shows a traveler being conveyed from the airplane on a cot by crisis responders. Kittakakorn said that following the arrival in Bangkok, right around 200 explorers were standing by to take forward trips to their objections. A Singapore carrier's plane conveying 131 of the 211 travelers later withdrew Bangkok for Singapore, he said. Singapore carrier's president Goh Choon Phong said in a proclamation that the carrier is giving all conceivable help and backing to the travelers and their families. For the benefit of Singapore Aircrafts, I might want to communicate my most profound sympathies to the family and friends and family of the departed traveler. We additionally profoundly apologize for the injury experienced by all travelers and team individuals on this flight, he said. Singapore's Service of Transport said in an explanation that it was researching the circumstance including Flight SQ321, and the U.S. Public Transportation Wellbeing Load-Up is sending staff to Singapore to assist with supporting the examination. Flight probably experienced quickly creating rainstorms. Choppiness happens when a plane flies through conflicting collections of air, moving at broadly various rates. With light and moderate choppiness, travelers could feel a strain against their safety belt, and unstable things could move around the lodge. Be that as it may, in serious cases disturbance can toss travelers around the lodge, causing extreme wounds and every so often demise. An assertion from the carrier said the plane experienced unexpected limit disturbance over the Irrawaddy Bowl, a waterway in Myanmar at 37,000 feet, around 10 hours after flight. Information from flying following site flight radar 24 shows the flight unexpectedly plunging. Then, at that point, quickly climbing a couple hundred feet prior to plunging and climbing once more and then at long last settling back at its cruising elevation. The whole disturbance required around 90 seconds, as indicated by the information. The flight heads in a different direction around 14 minutes after the fact. The carrier said. The pilot pronounced a health-related crisis and redirected the airplane to Bangkok. Serious disturbance hits London to Singapore flight. The Singapore aircraft's flight SQ321 withdrew London on Monday at 10:38 p.m. nearby time. Also, experienced serious disturbance on the way, Singapore aircraft said. No less than one individual kicked the bucket, with a few others harmed. The Boeing 777-300R, with a sum of 211 travelers and 18 team ready, was redirected to Bangkok and arrived at 3:45 p.m. nearby time.